I was always interested in photography when I was a kid. I've been shooting my whole life. It's the only job I've ever had. Most recently I shot Joker, as well as a bunch of other movies, including The Hangover and Godzilla, King of Monsters most recently as well. You know, one of the things I love about making movies is every day you get to create something. It's one of the best things about being a cinematographer. It's like still essentially the only essential part of a movie. You know, you can make movies without sound, you can make movies without actors, you can make movies with just about everything, but you can't make a movie without a camera, otherwise it would be a book. A big part of what I try to accomplish, besides coming up with a very specific game plan visually, is how do you give the most freedom to the actors and allow the set to move as quickly as possible to keep the momentum of the day. And I've found that if something's working, keep those actors close, don't let them go to their trailers, and just keep shooting while everybody's in the right state of mind. I think what we realize is the way to make the movie really come alive is to keep it alive even as you're shooting it. My big first experience with PRG was probably on Godzilla, because we had so much interactive lighting on that movie. Everyone from Godzilla to Mothra to Rodan all had a color and a bioluminescent thing that we were replicating on screen. So we knew immediately, like, technologies like PRG has with LED screens were something we needed. Even if we were never photographing them, we needed them for the interactive lighting. Once I was like, the only way we can do this Joker subway scene is with LEDs, I just called up PRG and said, let's figure out a solution to this. It's interesting now that we are living in a world in which even a movie is grounded in reality as Joker. There are still times in the movie, and the times in the filmmaking process, across all spectrums, in which you need to put the characters into an environment that's not there as you shoot it. And what's really great about enhanced environments and the way that the LED technology has allowed you to make these environments live on set, you realize what effect it has on the actors and what effect it has even on the filmmaker like myself as a cinematographer, because suddenly you're not guessing where that background is. You're not trying to coordinate that background later with the lighting that you're putting in, but you're actually able to photograph it in real time and make decisions and bring the lighting in real time as you photograph it in ways that necessarily you can't do when you're shooting blue screen or green screen. You know, one way we did that on Joker is in the subway sequence. Todd always talked about that as having almost like a fever dream. That was the way he talked about it. It's like, I want this scene to feel like a fever dream. Could we go out on a subway and drive it up and down the tracks and shoot it, you know, in the subway station for real? And absolutely we could have. But we also realized the limitations of that. So then we explored other options, like, you know, could do it blue screen and just put the background in later, but then you lose any of the interactivity of the lighting. And for me, what's cool about riding subways in New York is the way the lighting interacts with the environment, and the fact that when you drive by a subway station or another train car passes by or the lights flicker off inside the car, all that interactive lighting is playing inside. The real problem to be solved in that scene was, well, how do we get all that interactivity, but do it in a controlled environment in which we can be shooting on a stage, not have all the distractions of being on location, but really make it feel real for the actors. And so we went to PRG and talked to them about the same technology that they had used on Orient Express and other things, certainly driving shots in cars. I knew how prevalent they've become in that. And here was like an environment like that. But beyond the fact that we needed to replicate, you know, driving in a subway station and the sort of simplicity of that, I kept going back to this fever dream thing. And what I really wanted, and where the technology served not just to replicate reality, but to enhance reality and to get to this fever dream place, was I wanted the control of all these elements that you pass by when you're in the subway station. And this, without question, we could never do even if we decided to do it real in a subway, which is I wanted the ability not just to flicker lights off and on, which we could have done if we shot it real, but I wanted to make decisions as to when another train car passed us by, when we passed by a subway station, when a section of fluorescent lights went by. And suddenly now, we could be inside the subway car, which for the actors and for Todd Phillips and our operator was a living, breathing, moving vehicle for all intents and purposes. Like literally when you got on that subway and it started moving the screens, you felt like we were moving. I mean, there was even a little bit of motion sickness that happened. And with a push of the button, have a subway car pass by outside. And so that level of control and the way we could put that into the scene, particularly as the scene got closer and closer to this like violent act, well, that was the fever dream that I think we were looking for. Because I don't think people really realize it's been done with an enhanced environment. And that to me is its greatest success, because I just want them to really be deep into the scene and not think about the technology. But for me, the technology was essential to making that scene successful. And I don't know any other way we could have done it. We as filmmakers, we keep pushing the technology to the next boundary. So just because the technology exists in one form today, I think every filmmaker then goes to those same people that provide the technology, and their first thing they do is they want to one-up the last thing. It's one of the best things about working with a company like PRG that loves to solve problems just as much as we do, because that's at the end of the day, yes, of course it's a business, we all need to make money and keep the lights on, but we still are like really excited about making movies and making something that really helps tell the story. And they were great because the problems that we solved in Joker, which we did so effectively, I've got a whole new set of problems I need to solve on my next film. So I'm excited to work with people that are excited to solve those problems too.